Yes, yes. That's my reality. That's our reality right now. Milking us for virtually no kind of crime. I mean, be honest. You go in your courtroom, who is it full of? You know, us, and Mexicans. But the country is 60% European, but they're nowhere in court. You know why? Because they're the judges, and the bailiffs, and the lawyers. Just wanted to pull you aside for that. But how this is so tied in, to economics, as far as just leaving the people alone, let them smoke their weed, and not only economics, but freedom. And also unity, the same feel that they had in the 70s. See, they can't allow that feeling right now. They can't allow that, Can't do it. Now, think about what this means. If you continually are making money off of my imprisonment, off of my habit, this is not even a habit, this is a ritual, okay? Weed is a ritual, okay? It's a sacrament. Now, let's get that clear. For true herb smokers, for true herb users, for true herb consumers, herb is a sacrament. It's more of a sacrificial, conscious, meditating, ritual, spiritual. You see in the word spiritual, it's a ritual. That's what weed is. It's part of this. And it's such a great remnant. And think about it. If you let them just, even if you legalize marijuana, let's speak hypothetically, because I know I'm talking about not legalizing marijuana, the decriminalization. That's what it's more about, the decriminalization. But hypothetically speaking, if you did legalize marijuana, think about it. What would happen? Full employment, cops and all law enforcement would lose their jobs. Right now, they can't afford to leave us alone. They can't afford it. It's economic. It would drive them in the ground. Ain't that sick? That locking me up is paying you, basically. A lot of y'all out there, if there's anybody out there that's a policeman, know that. Ain't no crime in them young brothers. Ain't no crime in nobody. Ain't no crime in nobody that's using weed. It's just complete. It's so sick. It's evil. It's bottom line. It's evil. It's evil at its finest. It's evil at its finest. It's evil at its finest hour. All day when y'all got on that badge, on that sick badge. Seriously. So we have to understand that if you did legalize marijuana, just hypothetically speaking, that office file clerks in the city, in your city hall, office file clerks, judges, lawyers, anybody that is involved with the system would lose their job. Truly. I mean, that's the bottom line here. That's one of the sickest bottom lines here. This is a way that they're making money. This is something that is keeping the economy thriving right now. Ain't that something? I mean, honest, if you just bottom line, this is right now in Macon, Georgia, that is keeping this economy thriving. That's why our cops are so thirsty. Why? When we have so many facts here that prove marijuana is the number one natural sacrament for all people on earth. Number one peace symbol. I mean, think about it. When you see weed, when you see a weed symbol of just the weed plant, it instantly triggers a sense of peace. I mean, I don't know about you, but it instantly triggers a sense of peace in me. I mean, honestly, it does. It does. It does. A sense of cool, a sense of peace. But I'm going to read this here. Well first, hold on. We also think about it like this. This is another great factor that I had to take note of this when I heard this when I was educating myself on this topic, that there are thousands of things, and this is true. I mean, like shit. I mean, you got medical marijuana, and they name all the things they ink all the things that it supposedly cures, but know that it cures many more things. That marijuana actually cures many more things than we think. Right here, there are thousands of things that marijuana could fix that pharmaceutical drugs right now prescribe for. I say it again. There are thousands of things that marijuana could fix that pharmaceutical drugs right now prescribe for. Meaning that if they acknowledged herb as the chief remedy, as a chief remedy for people, as a chief remedy that can solve many things, that would tank the pharmaceutical industry. Now I think that is a whopping fact. That I mean, that's just common sense. If you had doctors come out and actually tell the truth, if you had doctors come out and actually tell the bottom line truth, that herb is a chief remedy, it always has been a chief remedy in medicine for all sickness, a chief remedy. I said chief remedy, not the cure. I didn't say it's the cure, but a chief remedy. If they did that, they would kill the whole pharmaceutical industry. How about it? See, some of these facts are so crazy and whopping because you would think it's just a little old weed. Just weed. That's what people think. That's what society has embedded in our heads, right? And also it's also about the criminalization. The criminalization. See, we want to decriminalize this whole thing. We want to decriminalize this whole thing. And this is all about the criminalization of marijuana and its advocates. Okay? So, now, the main thing in... Alright, hold on. I have to read this. I have to read this because this is just bottom line truth. Basically, they say, to those bound by the worldly system, cannabis is a dangerous plant. See, you have to know that they consider things dangerous whenever it's helpful. It is crazy. Whenever it's something that is something that's gonna bring the people together, they consider it dangerous. Back in the day, they considered Martin Luther King dangerous. They considered Brother John Brown dangerous. They considered everybody that fought for us dangerous, terrorists. Right. It says, to those bound by this worldly system, cannabis is a dangerous plant because it causes mind alterations that make the user question the more profound nature of the things around them and very foundation of the system. And usually, after this type of consciousness, anarchy is not too far behind. So basically, saying that marijuana just makes you think way deeper. I mean, and it really does. I mean, you would be surprised the type of deep conversations and rhetoric and dialogue that you would get out of a pothead conversation. You would be very surprised in how analytical and how deeper their perspective actually is. I think you'll come out very pleasantly surprised. I think as the one of the main another great reason that people should know that they tamper with us for our great sacrament herb Another reason that they because this is a historical thing, okay? That was the first way that they could tamper with the Indian and the black and the free blacks that they had let go. That was the first thing they did, okay? First thing they did, because they knew that blacks and Indians smoked weed back when, you know, back in the deep past, you know, kind of, we wasn't even free yet. We wasn't even the civil rights era, none of that came. So their first initial excuse, rather, to start criminalizing us was that we smoke weed, you know. It was like they knew that the Indian and the blacks use herbs, so this was the number one way to, you know, how can you say it? This was the number one way to move in the race and call them whatever you wanted to call them. I mean, just plain out criminalized.